So, beginning from tonight, we'll talk about the uterus. Let's just introduce it. Then, as we make progress, we'll begin to answer some of those pertinent questions that are in your mind right now. Right. So, the role of the uterus. This is the one organ that most people have reduced to baby factory, right? They say that is where baby stays. They have reduced the function of right. But we'll open it and see the details about this wonderful organ. Then we'll move on from there because we want to see all the major concerns with respect to fertility, right? All right. So remember, we're talking about the role of the uterus. The role of the uterus. And when people talk about fertility, unfortunately, the attention usually goes to eggs, ovulation, hormones, sperm, which is good, which is correct, right? I think Akua Otiwa is here. Hello, you're welcome. So I was saying that when people talk about fertility, that is the concern. People talk about eggs. You have quality eggs. You have my ovulating. What is my hormonal profile? The sperm quality or quantity, is it adequate? And so on and so forth. Hi, Akua. Right? But again, something that is so obvious, but quietly sitting at the center of the entire process of this fertility journey is that organ. And that organ, unfortunately, people oversimplify it. That is the uterus. Why? Because everybody, every woman has uterus. So nobody's giving attention to that when we're talking about, right? You know what some people describe the uterus? They say that's the place where baby grows. Correct, right? That is very true, but it's not complete. That's not a complete description, right? Because the uterus is not just a container, right? It's not just a container. The uterus is, from what I already know, which I will give you some details. The uterus is a biological sensor. Sensor, as in SENSOR, sensor that senses, right? It's a biological sensor. It is a muscular organ. The uterus is actually a hormonal responder because hormones influence it and it responds to hormone, right? So it's a hormone responder. It's an environment where implantation takes place, right? Besides that, it's also a vascular support system. The kind of vessels that crisscross that organ, you'll be amazed because of its function. And it is one of the most intelligent structure in reproductive biology. This uterus that people are taking, they are playing with. All right, so let's open it properly. Let's dive deep. So if you're just joining for the first time or you're seeing me for the first time, I'm sure you saw me because you're trying to conceive. So you want to follow me now. If you're not trying to conceive today, you will be trying to conceive tomorrow. So follow me now. Right? You know why we're talking about the uterus today? Because once you understand the uterus deeply, right? For some other people, they just feel like the uterus is just where menstrual bleeding is coming from, right? But when you understand it today, you stop looking at it passively, right? You realize that it is something that actively decides whether pregnancy can continue or continue successfully or not. Right? Very important structure right there in front of you. Right? Oh boy. You know, the other day I mentioned how that the uterus, rather the woman body is a very intelligent and precious structure, right? Because I know, right? Because I know what God put in there is more than just baby machine. It's a masterpiece, right? It's a masterpiece. Coffee, oh, Coffee is here. Good to see you. All right, let's go straight into the gist. The first thing we'll talk about. Do you know that the uterus spends most of its existence preparing for pregnancy that may never come? All right. Most of its existence for pregnancy that will never come. Let's just take only one cycle out of your whole entire life. Take that one cycle. Right? Everything that is happening from your behavioral change, emotional change, physiological change, biological dynamics that happens before the next bleeding, all that is to prepare for pregnancy. And many of such times, the pregnancy don't happen. Reason why you have monthly bleeding, right? Every month, what do you have? You have hormones influencing the uterus, right? That will stimulate the inner lining. Blood vessels will grow, right? Tissues will thicken. Even your immune system will shift. You have a shift in your immune system. Why does this happen? All because the uterus is preparing itself to receive an embryo. Right? Now, this preparation will happen repeatedly over and over again. Even when conception does not occur, the next cycle will come again. And the next cycle will come again. And the next cycle will come again. Right? Because that's what it's designed for. Hoping that this cycle there will be pregnancy. And when there's no pregnancy, it pours out down as menstrual period. Now, if you've missed my video on menstrual period, go and check it out on the YouTube channel. Right? Check it out there. It's there. Right? Then the next cycle. And the next cycle. It keeps going on until the day you're not waiting no good. And pregnancy starts. But before I go into all that functional discussion, do you know that this wonderful thing you got there, called the uterus, has 3 layers? Simple biology, right? I tell you, you will know this thing more than your child you're sending to medical school. You will know it. so long as you listen to what I'm saying. But we'll just be using it like market women so that everybody can understand, right? Just a simple structure, right? This wonderful structure has 3 layers, and that inner layer, which you cannot see, the only time you know is there is when you bleed, is the endometrium. That is the layer where implantation takes place. All the things we talked about, implantation, embryo, and all those issues, happens in that endometrial layer, which is the implantation layer. That is the inner lining. That layer is very sensitive to hormones. Hormones will determine whether it's going to be thick or thin. It's very sensitive hormone. And is that's the only part of the uterus that is dynamic. In other words, is every month it changes in size. It comes and goes, comes and goes. That's what I mean by dynamic. It rebuilds itself every cycle and crumble every cycle. Build up again every cycle and crumble every cycle. Every month, estrogen will cause it to thicken. Progesterone will stabilize it. Then if pregnancy does not take place, they come down as menstrual cycle. Right? This biological engineering. That's why I said women are so precious. I tell you. So that is the first layer, and the first layer is the inner layer, right? The functional layer. Then there is the other layer, the one that we call the muscle layer. Is in fact the whole thickness of the uterus is more of this particular layer, right? And the function of this layer is menstrual contraction. Remember what I said when I was talking about menstruation? I told you how that the uterus is always in a continuous contraction. It is this layer that is doing that, right? It is. If you're just joining, you're welcome. If you're not following me, you want to follow me now, right? So it is this layer that is responsible for that contraction, right? That is the layer. The layer also, that contraction also would also help the propagation or the travel of sperm, right? I think we talked about that when we're discussing sperm issues, right? It also helps. Then, during labor, it's all those hard contractions. It's because of this layer, that middle layer. We call it the myometrium. Those hard contractions, trying to squeeze the baby to come out, right? It's all coming from there. Is that rock? Rock is here. This particular layer must be strong. It's not just going to be strong, it's also going to be flexible. Right? Good evening, rock. Very powerful layer. And it does a lot of work, from helping sperm to navigate to squeezing out menstrual blood if pregnancy does not take place. Even sometimes they mistakenly attempt to squeeze out the baby. That's what you call whether miscarriage or threatened miscarriage, right? So they make mistakes sometimes when there is hormonal issues, right? So that's the middle layer. Then the other layer, the outer one, the outer layer is just to protect the uterus, right? It needs some protection, right? Protects the uterus. It reduces friction, right? As you are moving around, and a lot of these people, they can dance for Africa. So as you are dancing, when there is a lot of movement, it doesn't get to damage the uterus. Very important layer, and it's helping the whole structure. Now, leave all that gist alone. The most important part of tonight's gist is what the uterus actually do in fertility. Who is ready for the gist tonight? Please talk to me in the comment section. Just clock it in the comment section. Let me know that you are ready. So I'm going to be telling you in rows. We're going to take some rules, starting from rule 1, right? So what the uterus actually do is what I want to talk about. So who is ready? Just clock it in the comment section, right? Because we need to move beyond knowing the layers, the anatomy, the structure, because this uterus performs multiple critical roles simultaneously. Oh boy. You see why women are so precious, right? They are. If not for anything, that is the reason for bride price. Because all these wonderful things that it does. Right? So let's take the first role of the uterus. The first role of the uterus. Very important role. I love it. I love it. I love it. Right? The first role. The first role is to receive embryo. You already know what embryo is. Embryo is the product when egg and sperm meet. So when they meet, whatever is formed is embryo. So the first role of the uterus is to receive that embryo after fertilization. That is the next important thing that must happen. Right? Because the embryo will travel from the fallopian tube across the fallopian tube towards the uterus, and when it gets there, it should be received, right? But for it should be received, because getting to the uterus is not enough. You don't say, okay, fertilization take place, then it traveled. It's not enough. It must be received, right? Uterus must recognize the embryo first. You see how sensitive this uterus is? It must first recognize the embryo. Then when it recognizes that, okay, this is an embryo, a potential human being, then it will allow it to attach. Right? Beautiful biology. It will allow it to attach. Then the next thing after attachment, it will support it to begin to invade, to dig in, to plant itself inside. And that process is called implantation. Right? This whole thing I just mentioned is highly selective. It's not every embryo that can achieve this thing. Remember when we talk about chemical pregnancy? If you didn't get chemical pregnancy gist, go to the YouTube channel, it's there. Is that okay? Wonderful. The uterus is not a passive organ, right? It's not passive, especially during implantation. No, it's not just there. Then anything can just come implant. No. It's a biological, intelligent structure, right? And now this surprises many people, I tell you. They don't know that it's actively sensible. This uterus actively evaluates hormonal conditions. It does. It evaluates immune balance. Yeah. And also endometrial receptivity. Do you know what the inner lining does? You know what it does? The inner lining asks questions when the embryo comes. You see why I keep on teaching you how to prepare before you conceive? Because if you don't prepare, you give your body the wrong signals, right? That inner lining essentially will be asking questions. And what is the most important question it's asking? Is this environment suitable for continuation of pregnancy? It will. That is why implantation may fail even after fertilization because it's actively asking questions. Do I have enough hormone? Do I have enough blood supply? Is the wall thick enough? Is the immune system too harsh? So much is going on, I tell you. So the first role of the uterus is to receive embryo. That's the first role. Who is ready for the second role? Talk to me. Are you ready for the second role? If you are not ready, I'll still say it. Because I know that one day, when my kids are old enough, they will watch all my videos and they'll be very knowledgeable. So I'm not just doing it for you, I'm doing it for them too. That is my library to keep it there for them to come and study. Right? The second role of the uterus is a building of blood supply. Right? Because once implantation occurs, blood vessel develop. The aspect of blood vessel development is very critical, right? With respect to implantation. No, the body does not play with that part, right? The uterus must expand circulation. We need enough blood in that direction, right? Why? Because enough blood means more nourishment for the embryo. Enough blood means support for placenta formation. So development of blood vessels will just begin. And I tell you, without proper vascular as in blood vessel development, pregnancy cannot progress normally. Such is the case of many people who have a chemical pregnancy or even early pregnancy loss. Right? And you hear, right, I had miscarriage in my first trimester. These are part of the things that would cause that. So that is the second role of the uterus, to build enough blood supply for pregnancy to continue. If it doesn't do that, that pregnancy will fail. Right? That's the second role of the uterus. The third role is a very interesting one. It regulates the immune system. You already have an immune system that protects you from germs, foreign invaders, and anything bacteria that will cause you disease, right? But immune regulation is key, right? And this is one of the most fascinating parts. Why? Because, okay, first of all, when the sperm gets to the uterus, what happens? The immune system does not recognize it because they don't contain the genetic material of the host, the woman. They have the genetic material of the man. So what does it do? It attacks it, destroying millions of them. If you've not heard that video, if you've not watched that video, please go and watch it in my YouTube channel. Or there is a short video in my profile. Go and find it out. How sperm travels, right? You will like it. Right? This aspect, this third role is very fascinating. Right? Because as sperm gets there, the immune system destroys the sperm because it does not contain the same genetic material as the woman. Now, for the sperm that survived, they find their way to get the egg fertilized. Now the egg has to travel back to that danger zone. But remember that the egg has, rather not the egg now, the embryo that was formed has the genetic material of the father and the genetic material of the mother. The immune system, for the sake that it can perceive a foreign genetic material, it will attack it, right? It will attack it. So some of those miscarriages are actually because of that, right? Right. So because of that genetic material coming from the parents. So biologically, half or part of the embryo is foreign to the woman's or the mother's immune system. It is. And the uterus, in this case, knowing that the immune system will continue attacking this thing, this is where the uterus begin to do something extraordinary, right? The uterus would create a control tolerance. I'm trying to water down the big grammar because when the grammar too big, so doctor, it's too much. In fact, how much is it? No, we're not talking about how much. We're just teaching you to educate your mind. Is that okay? So the uterus, beautiful uterus. So the next time you rub your hand down here, there's something down there that's so intelligent and powerful. And I love it. Right. So that uterus creates a controlled immune tolerance. Right? Why is it doing so? It has to create that immune tolerance enough to protect the pregnancy. Otherwise, the woman's immune system will destroy that embryo, and you wonder why you had chemical pregnancy, or you've not conceived for only God knows when. Because for some people, their immune system is fighting the fertilized egg, right? Because without all this protection, right, the pregnancy will not happen. Fertilization will happen, yes, but pregnancy will not happen. Because the uterus has to suppress all that immune and defense system. And the process is very wide. I'll leave that for professionals when we come to talk. I'll give them all that. But for now, just know, say that beautiful thing in front of you is doing a good job. The fourth role of the uterus is hormonal response. Good question, Rock. It's a very powerful question you asked. There can never be a pregnancy without implantation. You understand? So what is implantation? Implantation is when the embryo dig its way into the uterus and plant itself there. That's why it's called implantation. And when that process is done, baby formation continues, and that is pregnancy. Is that okay? So there can never be a pregnancy without implantation. Otherwise, another immaculate stuff. Even in immaculate conception, there was implantation, right? I hope that is clear. I hope that is understood. All right. So the fourth role of the uterus is hormonal response. It responds to hormone. It does. Your name is Immaculate. Wonderful. So the uterus constantly responds to estrogen, responds to progesterone, responds to prostaglandins. That is why hormonal imbalance affects the lining. See, if your uterine lining is not thick enough, implantation may happen, but it will still fail. Why? Because you need a rich enough endometrium for implantation to succeed. Right? Queen's collection. Oh, you did? When was this? When was this? So you want to go back and maybe do an ultrasound scan. Is that okay? Right? Is that okay? So if you're not following me, follow me. Then go back for the scan. Please come back and give me a feedback. Right? Have you done a scan? Have you done a scan? If it's normal, no. If you are pregnant and you bleed or you are bleeding, it's not normal. It's not normal. So you should rush to the clinic, see your doctor. So that if it's something that can be salvaged, they can find solution immediately. Otherwise, right? So please go and see your doctor immediately. Few days ago, that's a long time already. So please go and see your doctor. Is that okay? Part of what they should do is ultrasound scan to see what they are dealing with. Is that okay? Queen's collection. Let me see if you're even following yourself. You're not following me. Follow me. Okay? Come back and give me feedback. Is that okay? So what was I saying? I was saying that this uterus responds to hormones, and hormonal imbalance affects the thickness of the lining. We need a very thick, rich lining, right? Hormonal imbalance will affect implantation timing, right? It will also affect menstrual flow. We've talked about menstruation, menstrual period. If you missed it, go and find out in the YouTube channel the details. The details are there for you to learn. Watch the video over and over again until you get it, right? So hormonal imbalance affects menstrual flow and even pregnancy stability, right? It does. This is why the uterus, the function of the uterus cannot be separated from your hormonal health. So when we're talking about hormonal stability, hormonal balance is also part of what will be happening with the uterus, because the uterus responds heavily to hormones. Is that okay? The fifth role of the uterus, right? The fifth role of the uterus is menstruation. Oh boy, it's menstruation. You know, every time at the end of a cycle you see your menstruation, you know what that means? It means pregnancy did not happen, right? You know, all those young single ladies, they want to see it. If it means their heart will just go and shout. I wonder why. Amy, good evening. Good to see you. You're welcome. Good to see you. Right? So anytime you see your menstrual period, it means that pregnancy did not happen. Pregnancy did not happen. The uterus sheds all the lining it was preparing across the months, which will come out as menstruation. So every one period you see is the uterus resetting the environment and preparing for the next one again. That's what it means. And trust me, the uterus is doing a good job. Nobody cleans itself like the uterus, right? I've seen someone that is saying, bro, while pregnant. Oh yeah, there are just a few people like that. Just a few people like that, but that's not the normal thing, right? Just a few people like that. Is that okay? Oh boy. Now, everything we just talked about is when the uterus is functioning normally, right? But now, what happens when the uterus is not functioning optimally? Right? What happened? What happened? All right, Roxy, continue. Right on. We're going to project this live stream. We're going to start projecting on the big screen on the streets for everybody to. Yeah, everybody should learn. You see, for those people who are Christians, if you know your Bible very well, he said, in the last days, knowledge will abound. Which knowledge do you think he's talking about? Knowledge of everything. This is my own part. I'm the one that is making the fertility abound, right? Why some people are making one last thing abound. Anyway, I know if you don't know what one last thing means, don't worry about it. So where was I? So I was talking about when the uterus is not functioning optimally. I know, right? Yeah, Rock. Lack of knowledge. Many people that are suffering infertility, nothing is really wrong with them. Many of them is lack of knowledge. Even the ones that have some issues, because of lack of knowledge, they are going to all the wrong places. When I have a lot of gist, right? I've seen people, something was wrong, but because they are not taking the right actions, they keep on. Oh boy. Just have knowledge. Just have knowledge. Just have knowledge. So in the end, what do we discover? We discover that everything they've been treating all the years, they were going the wrong direction, whereas the real problem was on this side. That's why knowledge is good. That's why knowledge is good. Right? Look at as simple as weight loss and weight gain. Do you know when you do it sharply, it affects you? With respect to, it affects your fertility. Do you know? Right? Yeah, Rob, that's the idea. Sharply. Say, oh, I want to cut down my weight, and you cut it, 10 kg in 2, 3, 4 weeks. That's too sharp. It's going to affect you. Or you want to gain weight, it's going to affect you. You don't know. Knowledge. If knowledge would not do it, I wonder what else would do. But again, we live in a day and time where everybody wants to get something into your system. Take this drug, take this injection, put this one, take these herbs. Everybody wants to get something in there. People just want to get it in there. I'm not saying those things are bad, but you need to first know. Good evening, Peaceful is here. I'm not saying that those things are bad. What I'm saying is that before you take it, please know what exactly is wrong with you. And that's my job, right? Other people have the job of, okay, take this one, take that one. No, that's not me. My job is to know exactly what's wrong, right? All right, so let's go back to the gist. Let's go back to the gist. Of course, Rock, of course. See, let me tell you something. If you know what to do, I give you 3 to 6 months, you get results. It's just to know. 3 to 6 months is not a long time. Matter, no, it's not one last thing. We are not. So if you're trying to conceive, you know what to do. 3 to 6 months is the goal. And I tell you, even if you are planning for IVF, you still need to prepare 3 to 6 months to give you a better success rate. Right? Give you a better chance. Go and download the preconception blueprint. If you don't do it, there is nothing else you can do for you. Is that okay? There is nothing else we can do for you. So, where was I? No, I was not as one last thing. I was talking about what happens when the uterus is not functioning optimally. Yes, Quell, I tell you, I've got plans for 35 and above. So you want to stick around? Those ones, I think I'll take them to Zoom meeting, because we need to have a heart-to-heart talk. Me and all the 35 plus, right? Right. I have plans for them, so I'm just looking for the opportunity to do so. But I have lots of things to talk to people in the. If you are above 35 and you're still trying to conceive, I have so much to tell you, but I never get on my time yet. Peaceful said, "Doc, please." Oh, no. Of course, now that one, peaceful. That can happen, right? But that is not the gist today. Well, please go to my YouTube channel, right? Go to YouTube, type Dr. Godwin EMD, right? In that my profile, search for prolactinemia. The video and all the details will come out. Watch that video over and over again, right? And of course, the solution is just around the corner. But if prolactinemia is your challenge, go and watch the video first, then come back. I will tell you what to do. You want to download the book? It's very simple. Go to my bio, tap my face, my black face there. Here, up here. Tap on it. Down on my profile, you see a link. Tap on it. It takes you to my digital store. You'll see the book there. Download it. Right. Akuwa said we need that very urgently. Don't worry, I'm getting ready. Air quality and PG. No wala. Quell, follow me, because I'm already working on that 35 and above. By the time I'm ready, all of us will go to Zoom meeting, because it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Right. First of all, we need to get you some information, then now understand your journey as it applies to you, because it's not one size fits all in this kind of situation, right? And that is why the 35 and above, they are very I want to separate them, because we may need to be dealing with them on a one-on-one basis. There's so much to do, but who will send me self? I don't know. All right, where was I? I was talking about what happens when the uterus is not functioning optimally. And that's a very important question. What happens? Now, let's go into pathology. Pathology is just a disease state, right? Forget about the big name. If you're not a medic, don't worry. It's not hard. They just put those big names to confuse you, right? Pathology means disease condition, right? So, hello, Lolo is here. Hi, Lolo, good to see you. You're welcome. Several conditions can actually affect how your uterus performs. I just paint the beautiful picture of these wonderful organs. If I can almost put my hand like this as though I have one, I don't have one. I don't have one. But that organ is very beautiful, I tell you. And intelligent also. Right? But several conditions can affect the performance of your uterus. And I want to start with the almighty fibroid. Oh boy. The almighty fibroid. Who has not heard about fibroid? Oh boy. Right. I will deal with the details in coming days. I think tomorrow I'll talk about fibroid. The day after tomorrow I'll talk about fibroid. So I'm going to deal with the details. But just for the mention today, right? One of the conditions that can affect the function of the uterus is fibroid. Right? And please understand that fibroid is not cancerous. Right? It's not cancerous. But even as it's not cancerous, it can distort the uterine cavity. Fibroid is from Jupiter. Very notorious, I tell you. So where fibroid, if fibroid exists in the uterus, it distorts the cavity. Remember, the uterus has cavity, so when you have fibroid growing in there, it can distort it. And the distortion is part of the confusion that happens with fertility. Right? Yes, it distorts the cavity. And a distorted cavity means that when implantation is supposed to take, or at the time of implantation, there will be a struggle for that implantation. Why? Because the uterine cavity is now distorted, so it becomes difficult for implantation to take place. It interferes basically with implantation and increases bleeding depending on the location of the fibroid. Right? So I will deal with fibroid in 2 episodes so that you can understand this thing. Because somebody's asking, this fibroid, who created fibroid? I don't know who created it. What is reversible? Akua. What is reversible? No, not in that sense. No, Rock, not in the... No, it doesn't. But its presence can exacerbate it. Oh, I don't speak English. What's another word for that? Its presence can worsen it, right? Right? So that's the notorious fibroid. Don't worry, we'll talk about more of it. We'll talk about more fibroid starting from tomorrow. We'll deal with it. So another condition that can affect your uterus is something we call adenomyosis. Adenomyosis. If you are just joining, you're welcome. All right. Adenomyosis. Now, this particular, I have the videos. I have videos on that in my profile. You want to go and search it and watch it. You will understand it better. All right. Adenomyosis is a situation where, remember endometrium we talked about? Right. So it's a situation where those endometrial tissues find themselves within the muscular wall. Remember the muscular wall I talked about? Yes. When those tissues are inside the muscular wall, it makes the wall structure like a sponge, right? And this can cause painful periods, right? It can cause painful period, heavy bleeding, and it even reduces the implantation efficiency. So that is why if you have adenomyosis, is a concern when fertility is considered, right? So it's very important to take note. Is that okay? That is the second condition. There's a condition, I think the third condition is thin endometrium. Now, this is where if you have the lining, with a situation where the lining does not develop properly, right, the implantation becomes difficult. Remember that lining must be adequate, thick enough. Thick enough. Right? The fourth thing. Today I'm just going to mention them, but we'll deal with them in details in coming days. So if you are missing the live stream, you don't want to miss it, we have 30 days to talk about the uterus. Right? So don't miss it. 8 p.m. Nigerian time, Monday to Friday. Right? Fourth condition that can affect the uterus is endometrial inflammation. Right? And what inflammation does, it alters the receptivity. How can it manage what exactly? Be specific. Right? Well, endometrial inflammation will affect receptivity of the uterine wall. Remember, it will alter immune balance. Adenomyosis is when we get there, I have a whole episode on that, so don't worry. We'll talk about it. I think that will be like after fibroid. It's adenomyosis we're going to talk about. So calm down. I know you want to know. You want to know. What be this single and searching? Shift a beg. We are not single and searching. You want to come and do one last thing for us here, right? All right. So where there is inflammation, Rob, what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying. Where there is inflammation, embryo interaction also can cause problem, right? Inflammation can cause problem with implantation, right? So these are the few issues that can occur that affects your uterus. Right? So long story short, the uterus is not a passive pregnancy container. It's not. At least we already know that. It's actually an active biological environment. Right? Active. I have this wonderful female doctor that I work with. Anytime we do an ultrasound scan, somebody type something. Loveline is here. You're welcome. The single aside you don't miss room. Now damn, now one last thing. We are not matchmaking. Right? So where was I? So I was saying that the uterus is an active biological environment. Not just active, it's also intelligent. Right? You know what it does? It continuous assessing, preparing, even regulating from the things we've said earlier. And also it adapts. So if you are doing it anyhow, it will adapt to the conditions and see whether you are going to change your lifestyle. Right? Very powerful organ, right? And you know that pregnancy depends heavily on the uterus, right? Its ability to receive embryo, the vascular support that it should have, its hormonal coordination, all these things put together, pregnancy is dependent on it, which means fertility is not just about egg and sperm. Now, fertility is also whether the uterus is fully prepared for life. That is why there are people who were born with some genetic conditions where their uterus is not properly formed. We call it a hypoplastic uterus. Those kind of, even though it's there, it will not conceive anything. Why? Because it's not properly formed. So your own that is properly formed, when are you going to stop using junk food, rubbish drink, and all those things to disturb it? Your overall health is the health of your uterus. Anything you do wrong with your lifestyle and nutrition affects your uterus. Right? Right? And young people, stop aborting. Stop aborting. I know say you like to knock with no good, right? But stop aborting. Is that okay? Now, do you know that across the cycle, right, the uterus also change? Okay, somebody say yes, of course, because of the inner lining. Yes, that is the key. Lovely, no wahala, no wahala. No wahala. Right? No, say now Lolo, I know where they said those kind of things. If you ask me where to examine pregnancy, now they are there. Welcome, you go just fisherman soup. Right. So the uterus will change across the months because of because of obvious reasons, right? Estrogen would influence the endometrial lining. It will cause the endometrial lining to grow. The estrogen will do that. Now, under the influence of progesterone, that lining that is formed becomes stabilized and mature, ready for pregnancy. Right? Now, when pregnancy does not occur, all these hormonal efforts will be shattered. And that's where you see it come as menstrual bleeding. Right? So, and of course, that cycle continues and continues. Like I would say personally, I would say every menstrual bleeding is a disappointed uterine activity. Right? You don't prepare. In the end, no results. You just get frustrated and everything comes out. Right? So if you are trying to conceive, if you are on a fertility journey, don't overlook the uterus. You need to get it examined. Right? Ask yourself this question. Regardless of what you already know, right? You have to ask yourself, is the uterine lining thick enough? Is it developing properly? Is implantation likely to be supported? The structures or the hormonal issues around your uterus, do they support implantation? Right? Because sometimes it's not whether fertilization takes place. Fertilization will take place. But if implantation does not occur, forget about pregnancy. Right? The environment where the embryo will grow is very important. It's very important. And you understand it more if you were here when I was talking about chemical pregnancy. Chemical pregnancy is that pregnancy that ended before it started. Fertilization took place, but it did not continue. Right? So that's what it is. Right? So the uterus is one of the most remarkable. Thank you very much. Thank you for the Rosa. Uterus is one of the most remarkable organ. And I tell you, one of my doctors, female doctors that I work with, anytime we are doing an ultrasound scan, she will say, when she see the uterus, she'll say, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful indeed. It is, right? So it's a very remarkable organ in the human biology. Every month it will prepare. Every month it builds. Every month it nourishes. It resets every month. And if pregnancy does not happen, it tries again. Right? Hoping that you will knock what you know good and pregnancy will come. But most times you just disappoint it. But long story short, I know, right? We see. Right. So, long story short, if you understand the role of the uterus, I tell you, you stop seeing it as just where pregnancy happen. You recognize it as one of those central architecture for fertility itself. Don't play with the uterus. That's why when I see people with fibroids, I'm concerned. Alright, I'm concerned. Fibroid is more common than anything. Right? But please get evaluated. And when your doctor advises you, please take it. Because I know that there are lots of things they put out there, whether it's herbs, whether it's tablet that will shrink fibroid and all that. Please ask your doctor first before you go that direction. Majority of the time, those things don't work. You may feel like it's working because you're hopeful, but they really don't work. Right? So if it's symptomatic, if it's causing you a problem, take it out. Right? Then walk your journey. Normal range, anything from 7 mm. Anything from 7 mm is normal thickness. 7 mm and above. Is that okay? All right. If you have questions, ask me now because I won't go sleep. All right. Lolo, thank you very much. Thank you very much. When it's 10 mm, is it that you are ready for the next menstrual period or you are in your early pregnancy? So go and test for pregnancy. Is that okay? Right, depend on your age again, right? It depends on your age and your condition. You can also be considered to have uterine hyperplasia. Usually now those people in the menopausal stage, then they get that thing pass. Doesn't mean that younger people don't, but it's more with older people. So if you are testing negative and your cycle is close to the next cycle, don't worry about it. Is that okay? Thank you very much, Akua Otiwa. Thank you very much.